It's Amy and welcome back. Today we are talking about cortisol levels because I keep getting these great questions from all of you from DMs and texts and emails and everything else about cortisol and your cortisol levels. So what is cortisol? Cortisol is often referred to as the stress hormone. It's actually produced by your adrenal glands and it kind of helps control everything going on in your body. So it can work with your stress levels, your metabolism, your immune support, your blood pressure, your overall emotional well-being. But the question is, why do cortisol levels change? How do they go up and how do we bring them back down again? So they change with our overall environment. And I'm not only talking about our physical environment, but the physical environment in your body as well. So that flight or fright sensation, the I want to run away or I want to hold tight or I'm nervous or scared or stressed out, all of those emotional feelings will come from a rise in your cortisol levels and create a rise in your cortisol levels. They kind of work together. So there's that feeling of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Are we stressed out so the cortisol levels rise, or are they rising and we feel stressed out? So what we want to do is figure out how to maintain that, and what does that mean, whether you're in your 20s or in your 40s or 30s or 50s or wherever you might be in your life. How do we work with that? And there's lots of different ways that can be helpful to maintain the cortisol levels in your body and your overall environment, both from a physical outside environment and the physical environment that you live in. And remember, this environment is different for each one of us. I also get a lot of questions about products to take, and does it make a difference when you're 20 years old and going back to college and feeling that stress level, or if you're in your 40s and 50s and going through menopause and you're dealing with cortisol levels then. So while there's no perfect scenario for everybody, there's no one size fits all. Everybody's body is different, everybody's environment is different, how we process everything from emotional, physical, food, supplementation, whatever, everything is different for each one of us. So there's no canned answer for this, okay? So that's the first thing to recognize, that what works for you may not work for your best friend or your sister or your mother or what have you. However, there is a philosophy and a school of thought that we can all work with to make our lives that much better, that much easier, and make us feel that much better. So think of it this way. If you're given $100, you have the opportunity to spend that $100, let's say, all at once on one item that costs $100, or you can expend that $100 and let's say you buy 100 items that are each $1. When it comes to your body and it comes to what happens in your cortisol levels and the adrenal glands and adrenal fatigue and everything else, if there's a very stressful situation going on, it's almost like your body spent that $100 all at one time. It's put all of its resources into trying to protect you from whatever that situation is that's very, very stressful, whether it's emotional or physical or psychological or whatever. If we have small stressors on an ongoing basis, the body is constantly giving that $100 out to try and solve those problems over and over again in smaller increments. So, and that might just be regular everyday stresses, like if you're in school, did you finish your homework on time, or how are you going to do on your exam? Or in your business world, did you finish the project you needed to be done, or the team get everything done? So it could be small everyday stressors or something that's very significantly happening at one time, or very significant and happening at one time. So what you want to think about is this, is that your cortisol level, because it's what we're going to call a steroid hormone, and it's also known, like I said, as the stress hormone, because it controls so many different aspects of the body. I'm going to break down different areas that you can focus on to help reduce the possibility of them spiking too high, or cortisol levels spiking too high. Now again, when you're dealing with cortisol levels, to really get a true accurate reading, you want to have your blood work tested, you want that cortisol level test done, but you can't wait another 6 months to have it done. It's something that needs to be done incrementally at different times, fairly frequently, to get an overall reading of where you might be. And if you hear a noise in the background, it's Zoe Jane snoring. I must be boring her. It's not me, it's her. I digress. So let's get back to cortisol levels. So your stress and stress reduction. Things that can be helpful for reducing stress and helping lower your cortisol levels, whether you're 20 years old or let's say you're 50 years old, is finding ways for stress reduction. Now, for a lot of us, that entails movement. When you move and you get your body, your endorphins kicking in and whatnot, that helps reduce your stress level. So I get a lot of questions about how should I move? Should I be doing a HIIT program? Should I be doing something that's very slow and methodical? Should I just be walking? You know, it's really different for each person because we respond to movement differently and because we respond to different activities based on our personality and our interest level. It's stress reduction and stress management and cortisol levels is going to respond differently depending on what you find most interesting to you. So if you're someone that loves ballroom dancing and you feel that your stress levels go down and you're moving, you're sweating and you're dancing and having a great time and that works best for you, then that's what you need to be doing. If you find that taking a walk outside in nature, whether you're barefoot on the beach or walking through a field or walking through the forest or just in your own neighborhood, and that movement is very cathartic, and that's what helps reduce your stress level and makes you feel more connected to nature, then that's what you need to be doing. If you're someone like me who's a gym rat, and I find it to be very relaxing to be in a gym and around Pilates equipment, around weights and moving, and also being outside and getting this natural sunshine and going for a walk there, I need to combine those things. I need to be weight training on a regular basis and I need to be outside. For some of us, it's more about swimming. Right? So everybody had playing soccer, whatever it is, pickleball, tennis. You need to find something that gives you joy, that gives you satisfaction, that isn't just about a workout, but that allows your body to decompress, where you feel like you're relaxing into whatever you're doing and finding joy out of that movement. So it's not so much about burning calories or getting the best workout in. It's about what brings you joy, what helps you feel like you're reducing your stress levels, and something that you enjoy doing on a regular basis, not being forced to do. For your metabolism, there's a lot of key factors that play into this. Now, the higher your stress level, your body's working so hard at trying to reduce that stress level that it can't really do too many other things, right? So your metabolism is going to go a little haywire the more stressed out you are. The other side of that is if you're somebody who's a stress eater, then anything that's not nailed down might be fair game. So you want to make sure that when you're undergoing a lot of stress, even though it might be that you want your cake, your cookie, your ice cream, your breads, your wine, whatever it is you're searching for that you feel like instantaneously will make you feel better, the fact of the matter is you want to eliminate as many of those things from your natural environment as possible, leaving yourself with as healthy and clean options available so that you are not doing yourself more harm than good. So working with your metabolism, if your cortisol levels are really high, it's going to be easier to gain weight and harder to lose weight. So we want to set ourselves up for success in finding foods and nutrition and movements that help us keep our weight in check and keep our bodies healthy. Your immune system is way more compromised when your stress level is really high. So notice that people who are chronically stressed out, they may also be someone that have a lot more colds and flu or catch every bug and virus that's floating around. So we want to make sure that our gut is really healthy, and what we can do to support that with overall food and nutrition and supplementation for gut health is really important. Because remember, again, your body can only do so many things at one time. And it's working so hard to help you get out of that over exaggerated, stressed out mode where your cortisol levels are really high, that it's not able to function on 100% level every place else, right? So again, your metabolism may be out of whack, your immune system may be out of whack, your blood pressure could be really high. So you might be somebody who has naturally very low blood pressure and find that as you are stressed out and your cortisol levels are higher, then your blood pressure gets really high. Well, we don't want to end up on blood pressure medication. We want to change our habits and reduce our stress levels to maybe prevent that or circumvent that if possible. And our overall emotional well-being. You might be somebody who spends a lot of time meditating or praying or writing in a journal or talking to friends, maybe talking to a therapist or counselor. All of these things can support our overall emotional well-being. but we have to allow ourselves to be in a place in order to feel that too. So as we get more and more stressed out, if you're somebody who wants to tuck into a corner, hide in your room, be all by yourself, that isn't going to give you what you need. You need to find ways to communicate what you're feeling and thinking and help kind of work through those issues that are getting you so stressed out in the first place. Because once we find ways to balance that out a little bit, everything else will start feeling better and in place. So things we want to work on for stress reduction, going back to the movement. In another video, you're going to actually see a treadmill workout that I love to do, which is awesome for stress management, awesome for reshaping the body, great to help lower your stress level down, and really fun to do if you're bored with traditional cardio workouts. Your metabolism, again, we want to make sure that we're eating really healthy and clean and trying to avoid foods that are triggers. So things with a lot of carbohydrates and sugars and a lot of heavy fats. If we're eating a lot of the comfort foods, that's going to make us feel even more in the tank, upset, belly ache, and more stressed out. We want to make sure that we're doing things to support our immune system. So getting sunshine as much as you can, getting all your natural vitamins and minerals, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, drinking enough water, supporting your body in ways to help reduce that stress level is really, really important. And in turn, when all of these other areas are supported, your blood pressure should start to subside a bit. Obviously check with your doctor because you might need to be on medication for that, but if it's just trying to get the stress levels down, perhaps these other lifestyle changes will help and you won't have to go that route. And that overall emotional well-being, I'm a huge advocate of journaling. I also love coloring books. I leave a coloring book and pencils in my den, and when I'm really just looking to zone out and get my brain to relax, and I'm too wound up to maybe read a book and I really don't want to be involved with a movie or a TV show, I will just put some music on, grab a colored pencil, don't even care what color, and just start coloring. And these books are awesome, the ones I have at home. They're great kind of meditative coloring books and really allow my brain to relax so that I can decompress and reduce my stress level at home. So let's talk a little bit about supplementation. Now, for over 20 years, I've worked with the same company for my own supplementation. I love the product line. I love that they're pharmaceutical grade. I love that they control everything from the raw ingredients through the packaging. I love that they're really user friendly and they're not into fads. That's the biggest thing, because everything that I like is about science. I like to understand what it does for the body, how it was made, what the benefit is without it feeling like a fad where 1 minute it's here and the next minute it's on to the next thing. So I've worked with this line for over 20 years. I've used the line myself for over 20 years. I've had really, really good success with all the different products for myself, and I love that they're on the cutting edge of science, but they're not fad and trendy. So the first thing that I always rely on for myself, and a lot of my clients use the same thing, are their core minerals and antioxidants. So this combination is the baseline that I work with everybody. It's a great way to get started because it's really all about the cell health. And I want to make sure that everybody I'm working with, including myself, that we're starting with a clean slate. All of the cells in the body, I want them healthy, I want them oxygenated, I want the right formulas, I want to know that everything is pharmaceutical grade, I want to know that it's compliant with everything. And so I really start myself and everybody else with the core minerals and antioxidants. I take them twice a day with food in the morning and again in the evening. Then I'm pairing different things depending on my stress level, what's going on in my body, and what I need. So one of the things I rely on quite a bit is the daily liver detoxifier, because when our cortisol levels get high and our adrenal glands are getting fatigued, the whole filtration system, let's call it, of the body kind of gets a little out of whack, or a lot out of whack. And one of my favorite products is the Hepicel DTX. It's a daily liver detoxifier. I use it every single day. The suggested amount is 3. I do take them in the evening, and I find it to be super, super helpful. It's not something that's going to send you to the restroom for very long periods of time, but it does help clean your liver and all of the toxins out of your body, which can really, really help, especially when you're totally stressed out. Another thing that I actually use quite a bit is called stress relief. This product has been around for quite some time. It's great for those of us that are looking to balance ourselves out a little bit. Our cortisol levels get a little bit high. We have ongoing stress every day, or something that's a little bit more significant, like I mentioned earlier. So this is a great product. I have a lot of our college students who really love this, especially in your exam time. Those that have a little bit more agitation with things, I take it every day. I find it to be super, super helpful. Well, every day as needed when I have something going on where I feel like a little bit more stressed out. Right? So I find it super helpful. It doesn't make me feel groggy. It makes me feel very even keel, no negative side effect whatsoever, and everybody that's tried it loves it. So whether we're dealing with stress from life, stress from menopause, stress from college, stress from whatever, this is a great option for a lot of people. Another one I find super helpful when we're stressed out. Sometimes some of us have a problem sleeping. This is Pure Rest. I take it about an hour before bed. They're dissolvable tablets. It's the best form of melatonin I've ever come across. I did not ever have a negative side effect from it. I use it all the time. I travel with it. I have found this to be super helpful. Again, a lot of our students really have good luck with this, especially if they're not getting a lot of sleep because they're studying or partying and have classes and are working the next day. So this can be really, really helpful for a lot of people too. But remember, cortisol is different for everybody. And just because you think your cortisol levels have risen, they may or may not. Unless you've had that blood work, you really don't know what's going on. So then we're really just dealing with overall stress in the body. And these are learned things to figure out what's best for you to help reduce your stress levels. So again, going back to movement patterns and finding things that bring you joy, that make you feel good, that aren't just about getting the workout in and saying you showed up at the gym or showed up at your class, but really finding things that make you feel good, that when you walk out, you have that kind of relaxed, elated, sweaty feeling that you're ready for whatever else you need in that day to do, because you can tackle anything at that moment. Working on foods and nutrition that support your overall metabolism, finding ways to support your immune system, getting enough sleep, getting enough water into your system. Remember, as a minimum, if you were to take your body weight, so let's say you're 120 pounds, you want to cut that number in half, so about 60, that means you're at about 60 ounces of filtered water, whether it be flat or sparkling or hot tea, every day. No, coffee doesn't count, and tea from the store doesn't count either. We're talking hot tea with a tea bag. Real water, real tea bag. Or loose tea if you prefer that. Working on things that help reduce your blood pressure, whether it's journaling, talking to people, walking outside, coloring book, painting, whatever makes you feel good, and things that support your overall well-being, right? So everything works together. So hopefully this gives you some things to think about and jot down. A few products, we can list those down below if you're at all interested in finding out more about those. Like I said, they're all pharmaceutical grade. I've used all the different products from this line for over 20 years. And for myself and a lot of others, we have found it to be super, super helpful. Making sure you get enough sleep, enough exercise, and finding things that just bring you joy and make you smile. So stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna go through a treadmill workout that'll definitely leave you sweaty and maybe even smiling, and we have more good stuff coming up. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, like and subscribe and share. It helps us give this information to all the other women out there that could really use the facts. So we'll see you soon. Peace.